So, last week we had a Category 4 hurricane, and it was pretty scary. People were evacuating, boarding up their windows and doors, and were willing to murder people just to get a little extra gas. During all of this, I couldn't help but be scared. There were all these warnings, and people were saying how if you don't evacuate, it could be dangerous. The big thing was there was even a video online of a weatherman pretty much confirming that the storm will kill you.
This storm will kill you. It will kill your children, it will kill your pets, and everyone you know who wants to mess with it.
Thanks, man. Way to keep everyone up. This, of course, made me scared because death is my biggest fear. Not only do we not know when or where or how we're going to die, not only is it a fact that we are all going to die one day, but probably the biggest thing, for me at least, is the fact that when we die, we don't know what happens to us. I do believe in heaven and hell, but there are times where I doubt myself. Unfortunately, this storm got me thinking of all those things. Luckily though, no one was hurt and no one that I know was killed, but now death is still on my mind and got me thinking of Majora's Mask and how in that game there was a good amount of people dying or on the verge of dying. And that is what I wanted to talk about in this video. I will not be talking about the theory on how Link is dead and how he goes through the 5 stages of grief. I just want to talk about death as a whole and how the characters deal with it and move on. Let's start with the first area, Clock Town. Like I mentioned before, death is something that happens to all of us, and it can happen at any time. In Majora's Mask, the main town is Clock Town, and here's where all of your focus will be, because the entire game you have to stop the moon from crashing and burning this town, and all of these people had no warnings that in 3 days, it may be their last day to live. Even some of the people are refusing that they will die. This plays into the theory of how Link is dead, but this also plays into the part of how there are people in the world that don't see death as a big thing, and just ignore it. These people are just hoping to carry on the festival without any interruptions. That even includes death. Of course though, if Link fails, their inevitable death will happen. Death can happen at any time, anywhere, even in the place you feel the most safe. Again, like I mentioned before, anyone can die. Children can die, people you look up to can die, even your special someone can die. And Majora's Mask has all of these. The first time this happens is at the very beginning of the game where Link is transformed into a Deku Scrub, and eventually you turn back to normal, but you get a mask of the Deku Scrub, and at any time you can turn into him. But for a while you never know who this Deku Scrub is. Eventually you meet the character the Deku Butler. After playing his little minigame, he comments on his son and how he misses him and how we remind him of his son. Later in the credits you see him mourning over a Deku Scrub you see at the very beginning of the game. At this point you can make the connection that the body is the son of the Deku Butler, and since we look just like him, it's pretty much safe to say that we are the son of the Deku Butler. Also, it's confirmed. The next soul you come across is Darmani III. When he was alive, he was a well-known leader, hero, and warrior. Many of the Gorons looked up to him, until there was a dangerous storm that threatened his people. On his journey to stop it, he was knocked off the path and fell into the valley below, losing his life. Since he failed his people, in death he is left with regret and sorrow, until Link comes along and promises to help him in his time of need, and Darmani was able to move on. But we'll get to that in a second. The last big soul you run into is Mikau, the lead guitarist in the band, the Indiegogo's, and has a relationship with Lulu, who is the lead singer. When he finds out that Lulu's eggs are gone, he chases down the pirates to get them back, but gets seriously injured and later dies due to how serious his injuries were. Link, again, is there in time and helps him out. What makes this death different is that we actually see Mikau die right in front of us. We see him try desperately to hang on, but can't, and we see him fall, now lifeless. With the Deku Butler's son, we see a child whose life was taken. With Darmani, we see a spirit who can't move on until he has closure. And with Mikau, we see a person who cares and when faced with death, refuse to accept it and try to hang on with every last second. Death can happen to anyone, and how they react to it is always different. With death, a lot of people don't know how to deal with it, so a lot of people will try their best to keep their memory alive. And surprise, surprise, Majora's Mask does the exact same thing. The best example to go to is Darmani, who can't move on. The only way is to play the Song of Healing and get their mask. Once you put on the mask, you pretty much turn into them, and to everyone else, you look exactly like that person. With Darmani, Macau, and the Deku Butler's son, when you wear that mask, you remind everyone around you of that person. You remind the butler of his son and how he misses him, and you remind all the Goron people of Darmani and what a huge role model he was. Macau may be the saddest one since they don't even know that he's dead. If they do think he is, they probably no longer think so since, to them, they're talking to Macau. But soon they find out, and I guess it was nice for them to talk to him just one last time. Probably the most interesting death is the death of Navi. Now, I know it's not confirmed, but my friend Obi made a theory on it and it was really well done, so I recommend checking it out. The theory pretty much says how when Navi leaves the forest, she slowly dies, and at the end of Ocarina of Time, it's her time and that's when she leaves, and that's why you're in the forest in the first place. This would explain why you never find her in the game even though that was your starting mission. That's also a sad thing about death, being missing. Navi may be dead, she may not be, and we will never know. Wow, that's really depressing. Sorry for that. This is why I love Majora's Mask. It's so beautiful in the way it tackles a topic like death. You don't see that in really any Nintendo games, so it was a nice breath of fresh air. Death is something that I am deathly afraid of, but Majora's Mask is weirdly comforting because it feels like it understands the topic and understands my fears of it. I hope I didn't make anyone too depressed with this video. Hey everybody, do you like video games? Do you like watching people play video games? Well then you're just in luck, because me and my friend, who we're going to name Curly Fry, that's his nickname, made a second channel called Super Handsome Intelligent Turds. Yes, that's a weird name, but we both loved it so much that we decided to make that the official name of our channel. But yeah, I have a second channel called Super Handsome Intelligent Turds, and that's where me and my friend Curly Fry play video games. Right now we are playing through Bloodborne and A Link to the Past. Every Monday and Wednesday will be an episode of Bloodborne. Every Tuesday and Thursday will be an episode of A Link to the Past. And every Friday will be something we just feel like uploading. Maybe it could be a non-scripted review of a game/movie. Maybe it could be a podcast. Who knows? It can be just whatever we want. But if you go subscribe now, the first episode of Bloodborne will be up. Then episode 2 will be up Monday. Then A Link to the Past will be Tuesday. So you guys get the schedule and you guys pretty much understand what the channel is. But yeah, episode 1 of Bloodborne is up right now if you want to go check it out and subscribe to the channel. Just thought I'd let you guys know. And yeah, have a great day.